Hey, what's happening? Good morning, good morning, good morning. Getting settled in. Hope you guys have your coffee. I've got Celsius. Mm-mm-mm. All right. What we're doing this morning is trying to stop my camera from breathing. There's a there's a thing that's happening with with my camera here. So I use a Fuji X-T4, and right now it's trained on me, and I have it. It's using a Viltrox f1.2 lens. This is super nerdy if it's really early in the morning, but I'm using this Viltrox 1.2 lens, 27 millimeter, and I don't know if it's sitting incorrectly or what, if I have the focus off, but it's been breathing a lot. So if you happen to see it, I'm not going to get up in the middle of the stream and try to fix it. If need be, we can always kind of switch over here to camera 2 so you can see what I'm working with. But for the most part, I'm just going to kind of hang out and talk. It's funny. I switched over to this camera, and it's the YOLO Live S3. I absolutely love this camera. The YOLO Live S3, right? Maybe I can turn that into something. But that camera, the YOLO Live S3, is amazing. And I'm going to be doing a video about it later on, so maybe we'll write some scripty stuff. But I've got a couple of things to do this morning. Some contracts to write. I have to do a deal for a book cover. I shot some imagery for a woman who got a published book deal. And we were only doing the headshots for inside the cover, and then her publisher saw some of my work, and they want to use it as the actual cover of the book. So I'm going to be writing the licensing agreement for that. So I'll be doing that this morning. The video that I recorded the other night where I went live on Wednesday night, because Wednesday nights at 7 is when I'll be going live all the time. But I recorded that the other night. Maybe we'll clean up some of that in YouTube, and I'll show you how I work there. And I'll put everything up on screen. I also have to create some thumbnails. I've got to go through and work through my Notion database. This morning is just kind of like an all access pass to me. So let's hang out. I'm going to open up a couple of different windows here. Let's see. Comments and reactions. We'll get that going. Good morning. I think, dude, Paul, I know you're on a call. Absolutely get a YOLO. 100%. Talk to me. Call me. I'll show you stuff before you make the buy, and then I'll give you the link for it. So that's awesome. Good to see you, my friend. Come hang out. So yeah, I'm really just going to be doing a whole bunch of things. What I'll probably do is I'm going to go into, I'll show you what I do. So over here, I've got my Stream Deck. And what I like to do is I've got several different screens on the Stream Deck so that I can navigate the show. Now, I got to say, again, not pitching. I don't want to turn this into QVC, but I've gotten so much gear over the past, I don't know, couple of months that it has made doing this job so much easier. And while I'm never someone to just go ahead and spend all the money on all the things because gear solves all the problems, because it never does. I got to say, sometimes gear solves all the problems. So the Stream Deck itself, again, I have the Stream Deck XL, and just showing you, I've got all of these different screens that help me navigate all of the functions here in the studio. So for example, if I wanted to change the background to purple, I press a button and it changes it to purple. If I want to change it back to blue, I press a button and it should go back to blue. Okay. Love my Stream Deck. And what I was wanting to show you is, as I go through, I want to have multiple buttons here that allow me to show you exactly what I'm doing here. For example, I've got my Notion database. I've got some of this with Claude, and I'll probably work in here a little bit because Claude, man, me and Claude have been getting along really, really well lately. But I'm going to start a new chat because the YouTube video that I did the other night where I was just kind of talking about all sorts of things. I have a couple of applications that I've been using lately. One of the things that I do when I do an interview or I do a video, I love transcription. I love hearing what I say, reading what I say, because generally speaking, I don't remember anything about what it is that I'm saying. A lot of it just kind of comes out. So there's a couple of gadgets that I got coming out of Creator Camp back in October. Saw a few people using these. It really piqued my interest. And I got the Plod, where is it? Where are we at? Plod Note, maybe we'll do this. I got the Plod Note Pro. So I don't know if y'all have seen these on Instagram or whatnot, but the Plod Note is really just a little voice recorder. And it slides out of here. This is this kind of like fake pleather case. And I would take it out, but my fingers don't want to seem to work this morning. And it's a really tight fit because it's a magnetic thing that sits on the back of your phone. Anyway, the Plod Note, this is the Pro version, and the only difference with the Pro version is that you get this kind of LCD screen on the front that shows you how much battery time you have left and, you know, how long you've been using it and so on and so forth. Really easy device to use. It's got one button on it. You press it to start recording. You press it again and it buzzes twice and you stop recording. But the AI that it comes with, and it just sits in the back of your phone like that, the AI that it comes with, the little app that goes in the phone, does an incredible job of taking the recording, not only transcribing it really, really well, because the Plod supposedly picks up voices up to, I think the Pro anyway is like 5 meters. So I haven't used it in a room that I needed to pick up voices 5 meters away, but I've been using it for ideation while I drive, while I sit in the living room, or while I'm on a phone call, because this can also record your phone calls. If you're taking them on your phone, it will record through the vibrations of the phone, does whatever sorcery and magic that it does, records that, transcribes that. Doesn't work with AirPods or anything like that yet, but it does record phone calls. The thing that I like about it is that now I can be a little bit more present on my phone calls. Instead of writing down all the notes for all the things, I can really just record the call, start the transcription after the fact, summarize it with all these different templates, and it works great. And it's a way for me to take all of that, put that into Notion, and now I've got a record of the conversations that I've had, some of the ideas that come up. And let's see, I'm getting some notifications. And I want to see who's here with me. Give me just a second. We'll see what's happening. People are commenting. Okay. Getting all sorts. You know, it's really, oh, it's all spam. Why do I get all the spam? Maybe it's because I went live or something, but all the spam. The thing that I like about Plod is, like I said, I can just put all this stuff in the Notion database, and now I've got record of the conversation that I have, so that I don't have to go back and look at my notes, which is usually just chicken scratch and random fragments of words or sentences that I think I'm going to be able to remember, and I never do. So having the Plod Note Pro has allowed, see, there's that breathing. It allows me to record that and just keep better handle on the information that I have. So, okay. So that's one thing that I use for transcription. The second thing that I use for transcription, I don't know if I'll be able to bring this up, but I will. I'll see if I can share it here, going back to my desktop, is an app called Mac Whisper. And I'm sure it runs on some sort of Whisper Flow backend, but maybe not Whisper Flow, but there's a GitHub project that is like Mac Whisper, and there's an engine behind it. I'm not that savvy with it, but what it is, when I do all my transcriptions for podcast, you can send them to YouTube, you can send them to Otter AI,.ai. There's a bunch of services out there that will do your transcription for you. There are some times when I have private conversations that I want transcribed, but I don't want to put them on a cloud service, right? If I'm publishing on YouTube, it doesn't really matter, right? Because the information is going to be out there. But there are some times where I have conversations where I'll record the entire conversation and want to transcribe the entire conversation before I start cutting things down, just so I can see where in the story I want to make some cuts. And I find that, I don't know, my healthy distrust of people that are out there, and especially my distrust of younger programmers that aren't necessarily putting all of the applications through the testing, the rigorous testing and the security testing that I'd like to think they are, then what I do is I don't want to send these transcriptions out in the cloud. I like to preserve a little bit of privacy for the people that I talk to. So that's a long way of saying I use Mac Whisper because it doesn't send anything to the cloud. It's using these large language models. It interfaces with Claude and ChatGPT, but it's also got its own language models that it uses to transcribe the data. So the other night, the video that I did, the live video that I did, is all transcribed right here. I took the audio and I dragged it into the main interface, and it just, you open a file and, whatever it is, this generator podcast, right? Here's the video that I made on the 2026 goals. It had, it was about an hour and 20 minutes. So I throw it into Mac Whisper and it shoots out the transcription. Now, the cool thing is you can look at this in segments. If you have multiple people talking, it'll break it up into segments. You can copy stuff. You can do meetings, dictations. I don't have all the bells and whistles running on this, but it does a really, really good job at transcription. So the other day I ran the transcription. I spit out the text. Now I want to go back into Claude, which I use quite a bit, and create a new chat. So we'll go into my podcast and YouTube and video and all these different chats that I have. I use a program called TextBlaze, which is a Chrome browser extension. Now, TextBlaze allows me to take all those big, long prompts that I just don't want to retype over and over and over and pre-program them in. So all I need is a backslash and a couple of characters, and it will already inject the entire prompt. So I've created all these different scripts here, all these different prompts that I can just use. If I'm doing an interview, it creates my interview prep guides. If I'm transcribing something and need show notes for Captivate, I have a script for that. If I'm doing it for YouTube, it's a similar but different script for that. So I've got a whole bunch of stuff, signatures and templates for paragraphs that I put in emails to clients. All that I can just do with a couple of keystrokes. There's a bunch of different apps out there. TextBlaze is the one that I really like. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say YTDES. Let's see, YT, let's do the no script one, because I don't need to write a script for an intro of a podcast. Because usually what happens is I'll do the podcast, I'll interview my guest, we'll talk about all sorts of stuff. And from my notes and from what I remember, I'll go back and then record the intro. Well, what I found early on was that I was rambling, kind of like I'm doing now. And I just didn't hit the high points that I wanted to hit from the interview. So what I started doing was recording the interview, transcribing it, taking that transcription, putting it into Claude, using the prompt that I had already written, which is pretty lengthy, and telling Claude what I want, what I don't want, how I want things formatted, so on and so forth, and saying, all right, I'm going to give you all this information. Here's what I want you to do with it. Wait for my transcription. I also load up the text of the transcription, and then it spits out a summary, YouTube, show notes, all that sort of thing. So I just loaded in the prompt. Now I'm going to go find my Generator Live 2026 goals. So here is the transcription text. I'm going to take that. I'm going to throw that in here. And then because it's already prompted, because the transcription is there, I'm just going to hit go and we'll see what it does. So this is what Claude's been doing sometimes, is that it says, you know, I need the show notes or the transcript. Well, I just uploaded the transcript. So when it freaks out like that, generally what I do is I go in. It's probably faster if I do it this way. I'm going to take this entire transcript, I'm going to copy it and put it into Claude. I don't know why this doesn't work sometimes, but I find that when it only happens with my transcript. So maybe I'm doing something wrong in the text. If you see what I'm doing wrong, just shoot me a note. But I do this and then I paste everything and there it is. It's all pasted. Maybe it has to do something with pasting or how I phrase the prompt or whatnot. So it's going to go through and it's going to create all of this. Now, I'll show you what I'm doing in YouTube. And I like that you're just doing this with me live. If you have anything to ask me whatsoever, just ask me here in YouTube. Just send me a comment. I'll see it and I'll put it up and I'll answer it. And I'm just doing this because I want to show you what I do. So here we are. We'll go to my channel. Great. And then we'll go in here. So here's the video, right? And I haven't done anything with the description. I haven't created a thumbnail. I haven't done anything for this. So I just recorded it the other night, threw it up. It was what it was. Okay. So I'm going to go back here. We'll go to, let's see, we'll go in my videos. This is painful, isn't it? Man, I never, ever remember where things are with YouTube. I don't know if it's that I go in a different way all the time, if I'm not getting to the studio. Anyway, I'm at the studio. And I don't have a lot here, right? 423 subscribers, 6 in the last 28 days. We're not talking huge numbers here. I'm not letting you in on any secrets like I'm some sort of Mr. Beast. All I wanted to do was get in here, find the video, and then we're going to do some changes to it. So go over to my lives, and here is the video, right? So now it's got auto-generated thumbnails. I'm going to change that in a minute. But what I wanted to do is go back to here, and I'll take that. And all I'm going to do is start copying and pasting some of the stuff that I created in Claude. And I'll make some changes here in a second, but the description, my takeaways, my chapters, all of my footer information, the resources that I mention, affiliate links, hashtags, I've got that all created based on the prompt that I use. And at some point, I'll probably put that prompt out. But right now, I did the work. I'm keeping the work. Maybe I'll sell that prompt at some point. So all I wanted to do was go in here. Matt Stagley on Walkthroughs, complete 2026 transition plan. Okay. I don't like that that Claude did that in third person. Can you please rewrite all of this in the first person since it is not an interview and was just a solo episode? So we'll wait for it to do its thing, and then I'm just going to go back in here. I'm going to delete all that. We'll start over. There we go. It's just easier to read that way. I don't like reading about myself in the third person. Does that make sense? So let's do this. All the same thing. Oh, it's much better. It reads like you're talking directly to the audience. Yeah, I know. All right, cool. Stripping. Now, see, again, here's what I don't like about AI, and this is the good and bad part about it. I'm walking you through my complete 2026 transition plan from recording interviews to live streaming while testing cameras, lighting, and software in real time. Perfect. Love that. After years of traditional interview production, cool, I'm stripping away the polish. I can't stand the way that it uses phrases that I would never use. And it always makes it sound like it's some sort of fancy thing that's happening. I'm stripping away the polish. We're going on a journey. Like all that shit, right? I can't stand that. After years of tradition, I'm just here to show you how everything actually gets made. This is the messy middle of building a sustainable content system. Again, I have to remember, I'm not writing a dissertation here, and I'm not trying to win a Pulitzer Prize for my YouTube descriptions. What I'm trying to do is make sure that the people that stumble upon the video get an idea of what's in there. That sounds okay. Move to live production, testing secondary cameras, working through Stream Deck bugs, color science, deep dive into Boris effects. Yeah, that's good. Break down my revenue streams. It says I have 7. I feel like I have 37. My 2026 goal of 250K, prioritizing live shows on Wednesday nights. Yeah, this is what it looks like to pivot a business while you're still running it. That's exactly what this is. Okay. So, and again, part of the copy paste from Claude, or from any AI for that matter, which I don't really understand why. I don't understand what I'm doing wrong or what's happening here, is in the key takeaways, there's bullet points, right? It's a simple bulleted list. I never know why it doesn't copy over. So it's got to be something in terms of the copy paste or what you can do on the YouTube description box or whatever. But those are the little things that annoy me. I just want to copy what I see and put it someplace else and have it look the same way. I don't know why it doesn't do it. So what I typically do is just go in here and I add them myself. I just add some asterisks to make people visually separate those things out. All the chapters are in there. But yeah, the formatting gets all screwed up. Let's see, connect with Matt. Resources mentioned. And I'm going to put my affiliate links in here. Cool. And then I'm going to go back to TextBlaze. Go here to the affiliate links. Sometimes this is faster than me going into Apple Notes or Notion, pulling some of this stuff out. So I take this. Well, why don't we do this? Affiliate. I'll show you how it works in here. So what I'm going to do is take Boris Effects affiliate link, and I'm going to go back up here. Okay, I don't need to duplicate everything, so I just kind of go do this, take the stuff that Claude put in for himself. And then I can leave some of this other affiliate stuff in there. The Ulanzi tripod, I can go and I'll get the Amazon link for that later. And Captivate, 17 hats, get rid of that. And my entire studio setup. And then the YOLO. So I'll show you how I do the affiliate stuff, right? So as an Amazon influencer, I can go up here, find the YOLO Live S3. This is the one that I bought last week. I'm going to get the link for this and get the link. Copy that. Go back to YouTube. Toss that link in there. Because that's a YOLO cam. And let's see. That's just about good. Yep, I've got my disclosure down the bottom about the affiliate links. That's all good. Okay, cool. I'm going to save that just so that that all gets saved. Now, let's see. We can throw this on the live, but what I'm really going to do, and I'm just kind of letting you in on this as I think about how I do my live streams, is the way that I've generally been doing it has been I will start going live and I'll put this believe me, I'll be right back. I'll put this intro screen up here, right? That says going live in 2 minutes. And that's really just a way for people to see that I'm going to be going live, watch the countdown. A lot of times I don't wait for it to get to 0. I just go live. And I should probably take the countdown off and just say starting soon. But what I like to do is when I do post that, or it stays on YouTube, what I want to do is get rid of that up front. So what I'll wind up doing, because let's be honest with ourselves here. If I look at what happened on this video, I don't have, what do I have, 9 views on it? Yeah, not a big deal here. So what I'll do is probably unlist that or make it private. Take that description now that it's already written, and I'll just copy it over. I'm going to re-upload the video or just upload shorts, cut it up into shorts, and then re-upload those that are like, 4, 5, 10 minutes long, something like that, a good section of the video so that it's not just the entire video. This is how you repurpose content. So it's an hour and 20 minutes long. There's probably 5 or 6 good segments in there. So I'll cut those up into 15, 20-minute chunks, and if they're worth it, I'll upload those, but I can use that same description over and over. So I'm going to leave that up there for now. So that's generally how I do all that. Now, if you want to see what I'm doing, and I'll bring up Final Cut so we can take a look at Final Cut. Because I want to play with Dylan Bates. He's also known as the Final Cut Bro. He came up with he does a lot of plugins, right? So I swear by his plugins. They're phenomenal. He came up with one called the Thumbnail Generator that we're going to play with here. This is some motion graphics that I was working on recently. And I'm just going through, there's all these, different motion graphics. Let's see, why are you bouncing here? Okay. And all I was doing was taking away the background using the alpha channels. And a lot of times for motion graphics like this, they're going to come a certain way. But depending on which editor you put them into, Final Cut, DaVinci, Adobe, they're going to interpret that footage and do things automatically their own way. I know for Final Cut, if I were to just drop this right in, it would have that white box. So a lot of times what you have to do is you bring the motion graphic in. I downloaded these. These are royalty free from motionarray.com. But you can bring it in, and then if I don't want the white, if I want a transparent background, which I just wish it was transparent out of the gate, all I have to do is export this as ProRes 4444, and it should give it the alpha channel so that I can bring it in and just have it be a transparent GIF. Because what I want to do is have it just be an overlay here in Ecamm and be able to drop it in with the Stream Deck on the stream while I'm doing it, right? I just hit a button, I hit my emoji. Oh my God, you said something so great, mind blown, right? And we get all of these really cool emojis that come down. Little things that I'm working on for the production. All right, shut up, Matt, move on. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is we'll create up here in my little personal library, we're gonna create a new event and we'll call this one 2026 goals video. This is just my own housekeeping. 1080p HD, 1920, that's fine. And now I'm going to import not from the eCam assets. We're going to do it from I don't like that everything that I go into, it changes the order. Man. Working lives. 2026 goals. So here is the video, right? So again, what we're doing is we are trying to did I import it to the wrong? I probably imported it to the wrong library. You probably caught that. I wish I could rewind it and see where I put it, but regardless, it's right there. Just going to drag that down on my project. All right. So now that we're in here, I can get rid of this. Just make that a lot smaller. So cool thing is now I can, let's find a 2026 goals. Let's find something. Let's scroll through some of this footage. Usually I like where I have a view on my face that's ridiculous. Shorten this down a little bit more. This is where I was doing my Boris Effects demo. Shut off that. There, that's fine. We'll use that, right? So all I'm going to do here, because I've already kind of played with this video a little bit, I'm not too concerned about, I keep moving the wrong way with my camera. I'm not too concerned about perfection here. I'm just playing, so I can always come back to this and change it again. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to do edit, add freeze frame based on that. So here's my, at the end here, here's my freeze frame, right? And not going anywhere. And it's just this wonderfully disappointed, cynical look on my face. It's fantastic. So now I'm going to find the thumbnail. Oh, was it over in generator? Dummy. Come on. Why are you not doing things for me? Did I not? I thought I installed it on this. This could just be done as we I must have just installed it on my laptop and I haven't installed it over here yet. Well, that's a bummer. Oh. I just haven't installed it over here yet. All right, so we're not going to do that. All right, let's close out Final Cut. Let's go back to go back to this. So generally speaking, all I'm going to be doing is pulling a thumbnail from that, uploading that to YouTube. And there's a whole bunch of stuff that I can tweak in the thumbnail generator. So I was just going to play with it with you here, but moving on, right? So now let's close this window. Let's do a new window. And I want to go into, I want to produce. Now I'm probably not going to use this, but let's create something in Claude, right? I need to get a basis for the license that I need to write for this book cover. Now, let's start typing into Claude. What is it that I want to do? So let me come back over here. So maybe I can do this. And let's make this, I'm going to try to make this a little bit bigger. There we go. Let's move this over. Make this a little bit bigger for you. How's that? Better? Cool. All right. So with Claude now, I have a client that asked me to use image I created as a cover on their upcoming poetry book. Need to write a license for the photo that allows her and the publishing company to use the image starting in 2027. The image should be starting in 2026 and ending at the end of let's make it 2029, give them a 3-year license. This should be a non-exclusive. And non-exclusive just meaning I still have the power to take the image, resell it anywhere. I'm not going to. That's not what I'm planning on doing here. But I like having sometimes fewer restrictions on my contracts, especially when I know the person. I know why they're using it. I don't believe that they're going to take it and do anything nefarious with it. So I generally go with non-exclusive licenses. It gives us both a little bit more latitude. And for me, I want to be able to utilize an image differently. Hey, if the New York Times comes to me and says, we love this image and we want to use it, well, I can write them a license for it. And I'm just going to wind up clearing it with the client. Hey, New York Times is interested in this photo. Can they use it? And while under the terms of the contract, they can absolutely use it, I like to make sure that I'm working with my clients. And if they say, nah, I'd rather not have that out there, I'd say, okay, not a problem. They're right. They originally paid for the photo, their license. I can respect that. I can be a good human, right? So anyway, all right. So I have a client that asked me to use an image I created for them as a cover on their upcoming poetry book. I need to write a license for the photo that allows her and the publishing company to use the image starting in 2026 and ending at the end of 2029 for publishing and any other associated marketing that they may need. This should be a non-exclusive license so that I retain the rights to utilize it elsewhere. However, I want to protect the rights of the client and get any additional permissions cleared by them first, even though it's not required. That's my good human approach. Please insert a placeholder for a 4-figure license, because we're not talking 10, 20, 30, 40, $50,000 here. For a 4-figure license that I will fill in when the negotiation is done. I already kind of know what that is, but again, trying to protect the privacy of the client. So we're just trying to come up with this license. If create a standard licensing agreement, and please include anything that you think may protect both the photographer and the client in this process. If you need to ask me any, this would be so much faster if I was just chatting with it. I know Doc does that quite a bit. He talks to his chat bot. I don't do that. I kind of like to type, but this would be a lot faster if I was just chatting with it. And, you know, I can do my whole voice research and start my chat down here. Not going to do that. If you need to ask me any questions, any clarifying questions, please do so. Create the draft, and we can tweak as we go. I want to see what this puts out. Now, I have some standard licensing agreements. I've got model license agreements. I've got image licensing agreements. But this particular situation, book cover, the front cover of a book, I haven't done before. So I can pull from those other licenses that I have and cobble together the language. I want to see what this puts out. Now that all the language models have gotten better, I want to see what this spits out. So here we go. Let's see what it says. I need the Jeopardy music to be playing here. Okay, what's the title of the book? Let's see. Leave the title of the book and the publisher as placeholders for now. I know the publisher, but don't want to disclose that. It can be for print and digital in case the book is somewhere like Amazon Kindle. No geographic restrictions. Credit line should just be my name, not Stone Tree Creative. If they stop using it by 2029, there is no proration. One thing to add is that the image is currently licensed to another third party for 2026, but will end on December 31st, 2026. So the image that I'm talking about is being used by Boris FX right now on their website and in some of their promotional materials because I created it with Boris FX. So now Claude is spitting out this licensing agreement. Let's take a look at it and read through it. Now, again, I am not a lawyer. If you're watching this and you're screenshotting this and you're watching what I do and you think you're going to get a contract, I'm going to have this reviewed by someone before I send it out. But this gets me way closer. It saves me on a lot of legal fees of going back and forth and back and forth. But what I'm going to do is take this and then wind up passing it through my lawyer and having them do a cleanup. I'd rather just spend a couple $100 for a quick review than going and writing the entire thing. This way, I can add all my nuances, make sure the stuff that I want is in there, and then have the lawyer just catch the other stuff and not do all the back and forth that we just did, right? That's how I use AI. I use it to save me time and money, but understanding that what it spits out may or may not be right. So gets me close in my layman's approach to legal terms, but let's take a look and see what it says. All right, so entered into, licensor, licensee, publisher, licensed image uses book cover, describe below, and that's I'll put the description of the photograph. I'll probably wind up having to register it for copyright, which I haven't done. Let's see, non-exclusive, non-transferable license, non-transferable. See, that's the term I couldn't think of, non-transferable. Reproduce, display, and distribute for following purposes: interior use, digital editions, print editions. Let's see. New agreement is executed. That's great. Worldwide rights. Non-exclusive. License it to other parties. So this is what I'm talking about. Licensor retains all rights to the licensed image and may license it to other parties. Acknowledge that the licensed image is currently licensed to a third party through December 31st, and that such use does not conflict with the rights granted herein. Right? I've already talked about this with the client. Totally understands. That actually fits pretty well. And then this phrase here, may license it to other parties. I'm going to need to rephrase that because I really do want to give the client a sense of assuredness that I'm not going to just start posting this picture everywhere. I want her to have a level of exclusivity. While licensor retains their right to license, here it is. Is to notify the licensee of writing prior to licensing the image for any use that may directly compete with or dilute the association between the image and the book. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. A one-time license fee of the payment is due. Payment made, no proration. Copyright and attribution. Prohibited uses. Yep. Register the claim, right? Yep. No third-party rights, indemnification, termination. This is actually pretty good. Yeah, this is pretty good. Okay, so I don't see a lot of changes here that I would need to make in the overall license. But what I'm going to wind up doing is taking this, and we're going to, can you please output that contract to an editable docx format let's do this in Google Sheets, to a format like Google Docs. That way I'm just going to be able to take it and put it into a better word processor. I can't stand the copying, pasting, how it's been implemented in some of these models. I just can't stand it. It just seems like we've been copying and pasting since like 1991, and we're now have the smartest people on the planet creating artificial intelligence, and they've skipped over how to do copy paste easily. It blows my mind, considering that's all people are doing is like copying and pasting with this shit. So, Claude's taking a while. So, yeah, this has been kind of it. Just really want to start coming on here, not seeing a whole lot of places. Oh, hey, Neil. There he is. That's funny. Cloudflare outage. Yeah. So this is really interesting. I noticed that, man, and it's been really slow. I found that over the past, I don't know if it's been the past week or is the past 24, 48 hours, but Cloudflare got hammered. And all of these different sites were feeling the funk, right? They were running slow or not working at all. I know Opus Clip, for example, I was talking to somebody yesterday. When I upload YouTube to Opus Clip, that was failing. So I don't know if it was getting hit on the YouTube side or on the Opus side, or maybe it was just bad coding. Who knows? Claude has been really slow. ChatGPT has been really slow. I haven't tried Perplexity's Comet yet, but I might start using that and try that as a browser. But yeah, there's been this worldwide disruption. And if you think that this is the only time it's going to happen, I'm not talking to you, Neil, I'm just talking in general. If you think this is the only time this is going to happen to these tools, it's only going to get worse. So creating a high dependency on a lot of these tools that can be disrupted by some 13-year-old with too much time on their hands and too many brains in their head could really make your business disrupted. It could disrupt your business as well as the tools if you put too much faith in it. All right. So now this has spit out the license agreement in docx form. I will download it just to my desktop just to be safe. And then I'll also put it in Google Drive. But if I look at it, generally speaking, if I blow this up, yeah, this doesn't look too bad. I'm going to go back, and there's some specific language in some of the licenses that I've used for images before. I'm going to go back and do some comparisons, see what I like. But this is, a more up-to-date version. I know this has a lot of the terms in it that I'll want to use with the client, and I'll put it by my lawyer and see what they say, see how close I get to it. So, all right. Sorry I didn't see your comment there, Neil. Working on too many screens here at once. I know you know how it is. So, all right. So I'm going to go back and come back over here and basically say, this is what I want to do on every Friday morning. I want to come in here. I want to work a little bit. I want to give you the insight to what I'm doing. Hope you hang out with me, asking me any questions. Like I said, this morning has been nothing but showing you, all right, well, it's Friday morning. I've got some stuff to clean up. Let me go and clean up the YouTube video that I did the other night, because when I got off the stream, I didn't feel like creating thumbnails and descriptions and transcriptions and doing all of that. So it's what I do either the next morning or a day like today. This is how I'll spend my morning. I'll be doing some of this. I have some meetings today, but really wanted to get this done. So the YouTube stuff was done. We talked about some of the other tools that I use, like TextBlaze. Talked about the YOLO S3 camera that I'm looking at you at right now. Can't wait to make the video right after this. I'll take this camera and I'll show you exactly what it looks like so that you get a better feel for it instead of just seeing the image. But really, really cool camera. I can't wait to promote it a little bit more. Again, I'm not affiliated with YOLO Live. I just love the camera and I love talking about products that work well in my setup. And then we developed this license for a book cover deal that I'm working on for one of my images. So if you want to see the image, you'll have to wait. Or you can go, oh, let's do this. I'll show you where it is. We'll go over here and I'll show you the image. Go over to Boris Effects and we'll go to Optics, because they just released the 2026 version of Optics and it is phenomenal. This is Bella Kotak's photo. Bella might be the nicest person I've ever met. Seriously, she's just like a cloud and a kitten rolled together, and just a nice person. Here's my image here. That's the image that I'm talking about. This is going to be the book cover, but it's on the Boris Effects website right now, and you can take a look at it. The fact that I'm among some of these artists and Mary and it's just, I'm very humbled. I still get very giddy seeing my stuff up here. So anyway, that's the photo. And if you need anything related to streaming, if you want to talk about using some of these tools, if you want to do a deep dive into any of the things that make my process, just come hang out with me on Friday mornings because I'm going to show you absolutely everything. It's a great way to go to do a little bit of co-working, even if you're just listening to the dulcet tones of my well-modulated baritone. You can come hang out with me and we'll get some work done together. Nothing formal, super casual, but this is creating a little bit more consistency for me. Now, if you do want actual instruction on Ecamm and Stream Deck and all the bits of live streaming, and you really want teachers that know the most ins and outs, go to people like Neil Farriman here and check out their channels. Alex, the entire Ecamm channel. You can find the instructor that resonates best with you and find their tutorials. Ecamm is the best thing since sliced bread. I'm telling you. If you're not using it, if you have a Mac and you're doing any sort of live streaming, or even if you're not even doing live streaming, if you're just doing recording, download the trial of Ecamm, play with it a little bit. I guarantee you it's not going to be difficult for you to get up to speed and start making all your stuff look a lot better. So anyway, that's my pitch. But I'll come back here and zoom out and we'll zoom in. I love the Stream Deck, man. You can't beat it. All right, that's it. I did my hour. I'm going to clock out. Thank you for hanging out. Make sure... and I'll have graphics for this next time so you don't have to write anything down or try to remember. But Wednesdays, 7 p.m. Eastern, Fridays, 9 a.m. Eastern, I'm going to be right here and probably a bunch of stuff in between. But Neil is going to wind up coming on the podcast. We're going to do a live show at some point. I'm just trying to get my shit together before I start inviting people in. So anyway, thanks for hanging out, guys. I will holler at you another time. If you have any questions in the meantime, just comment here, send me a DM, send me an email. It's matt@stonetreecreative.com, or you can just DM me here, hit me in the comments, whatever you want. But until then, have a great weekend. I'll catch you next time.